Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Myae San, Group Leader of Group 4. The flow of our presentation in this video will start with introduction, followed by four main issues that Malaysia will need to address with regards to digitalization and digital divide, which include lack of sufficient financial resources, cybersecurity, quality of education and skill alignment, and infrastructure disparities, and we will proceed with our conclusion.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our title is OIC Economic Outlook 2023, the rise of the digital economy and bridging the digital divide. The OIC Economic Outlook 2023 examines the digital economic impact on OIC member countries, including Malaysia. The report focuses on the digital divide and its importance in bridging it. It highlights initiatives to ensure equitable benefit, address connectivity, digital literacy, and technology access issues, and provide insight into equitable participation strategies for socio-economic development in the digital economy. This analysis reflects on the OIC commitment to an inclusive and digitally empowered future.
The first issue that we're going to look at is lack of sufficient financial resources. The OIC report identifies this to be a critical challenge that affects development in a couple of ways. It affects the country's commitment to innovation, knowledge creation, as well as R&D. And this is also corroborated by literature reviews that echo concerns about inadequate funding as a critical internal factor hindering R&D activities in Malaysia specifically. Owing to inadequate financial resources, economic conditions and financial constraints may make it more challenging for the government to devote substantial resources to digital inclusion when budget cuts or reallocation of funds to priorities such as welfare, healthcare, or education occurs. So the policy package that we came up with to counter this issue is for the government to create a special fund for digital inclusion that combines funds from different sources such as grants from abroad, government funds, and contributions from the private sector. These can be centralized and directed towards specific initiatives to close the digital divide in Malaysia. And it allows for improving the efficiency of resource allocation procedures, which guarantees that the available funds are used efficiently. And it also allows for the establishment of a framework for ongoing monitoring and assessment, which further ensures effective usage of funds. So in order to track the progress of this policy, a composite index known as the Digital Investment Inclusion Index, or DIII, can be implemented, which can take into account the combined funding from various different sources, such as mentioned earlier, and each source can be assigned a weightage based on their significance. So an increase in the DIII would denote a greater financial commitment toward inclusion initiatives, which would be the result of combined effort between the Malaysian government and the Malaysian private sector. Also, the larger the DII, the greater the resource availability is for digital inclusion initiatives in Malaysia.
That another crucial area that needs to be focused for Malaysia's digital transformation is awareness of cybersecurity among Malaysians. Apart from the needs to avoid scammers and fraud, it is important to take care of confidential information such as identity cards, bank account information, and others. Statistics in Malaysia depicts that cybercrime caused the loss of 67.7 million ringgit, with the total number of the cases 2,207 were reported in the first 3 months of 2019. The loss is not only in the amount of loss but involves the opportunity cost and the cost of starting over, which lead to the economic development disruption. Regarding the cybersecurity issues in Malaysia, the governments and employers can conduct employees training on cybersecurity awareness policies. This can promote the awareness of common cybersecurity threats and the best practices to avoid cybercrime, fraud, and scammers. Targeted campaigns could be developed which focus on specific vulnerable groups like elderly and rural communities. Additionally, technology becomes an intermediate medium between sellers and buyers. Hence, awareness is vital and government could take advantage of fast news outreach via various social media platforms to inform people on the arising scam patterns. establish cybersecurity infrastructure through partnership between government and private sector to develop and maintain national, including trade intelligence sharing and incident response protocol. Development of a decentralized data exchange system for sharing government data amongst agencies for high data privacy and security. By putting these policies into practice, Malaysians can see the decreasing loss due to cybercrime and can improve the digital economy. Rates of security incidents reported could be used to monitor the severity of the issues with cybersecurity and can be used to assess the effectiveness of the policy response.
Moving on, another major issue that Malaysia will need to address is the quality of education and skill alignment, which are crucial areas in Malaysia's digital development. There is a need to bridge the gap between traditional educational frameworks and technology-focused curricula to align graduates' capabilities with the demands of the digital workforce. Education and training institutions in the country have not been able to equip students adequately with the digital skills that growth industries required. Till today, colleges and universities have not been able to keep up with the industrial needs of the market, leading to constant criticism about the quality and type of graduates produced. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, there is a decrease in skilled workers by 28.2%. Higher educational institutions remain laggards in aligning their programs and courses to the needs of the ever-changing economy. It has also been reported that the pace of skills transformation is much slower than the pace of digital transformation in Malaysia. According to the World Economic Forum, the Future of Jobs report published in October 2020, only 66.3% of the active population, encompassing employed and unemployed persons in Malaysia, possesses some form of digital skills. PwC also revealed in its Hopes and Fears Survey 2021 that only 19% of the Malaysians were confident in their digital skills. According to MDAG, 56,000 digital job vacancies were available in Malaysia as of April 2021 due to inadequate digital talents to fill up the gap. Failure of the education system to reform and produce graduates equipped with in-demand skills can result in unemployment, which can potentially cause youth to perceive education as no longer having value, worsening the current major issue of low tertiary enrollment, and the country would trapped in the vicious cycle of inability to move towards the highly advanced digitalized nation. In order to solve this issue, the policy presented could be proposed. Firstly, Malaysia could implement a similar university-industry partnership model as in the UK, which will allow the students to gain hands-on industrial training in real-world settings and the academic studies at universities. Alternatively, the government could also promote TVET to produce industry-ready graduates. A good example would be a successful Scandinavian model where vocational education is highly regarded as equipping students with relevant skills for advanced careers. Ensuring the development of robust infrastructure for OERs and MOOCs will enable lifelong learning catering to digital skills needed in evolving industries. As for measuring this challenge, the percentage of total graduates hired in high-skilled jobs could be the indicator used to measure this issue of education and its relevance to the industry-required skills.
Moving on to the critical issues of infrastructure disparities. Firstly, the infrastructure disparity between the East and West Malaysia highlights not only inequitable access and inefficient use of digital resources, but also has tangible impacts and isolating rural communities. Secondly, the Digital Gap Index uncovers disparities in broadband infrastructure, affordability, digital literacy, and language barriers. An evident example is during the COVID-19 pandemic when a local student from Sabah, Viviana, climbed up a tree to boost her internet connectivity, illustrating the pressing connectivity challenges faced especially in East Malaysia. This East-West infrastructure divide isn't just about connectivity. The divide limits entrepreneurs' access to a broader market, hindering digital inclusion and impeding Malaysia's overall digital transformation. To address these issues, a proposed policy package is in order. Firstly, Malaysia needs to bridge digital disparities through 5G infrastructure and technology to foster digitally inclusive society. Next, the government must provide equal opportunities for both East and West Malaysia, ensuring a balanced and inclusive approach to digital development. Thirdly, recognizing the importance of digital skills, particularly in the rural areas, the focus is on improving the population's digital literacy. Finally, the success of key projects like the Sabah Digital Economy Blueprint, Sarawak Digital Economy Strategy, and the Rural Broadband Project is crucial for transforming Sabah and Sarawak into digital economy hubs. The rural broadband penetration rates indicates the accessibility of broadband internet in rural Malaysia, serving as a crucial measure to address digital disparities. The greater the rural broadband penetration rate, the greater the accessibility to digital infrastructure across the rural areas of Malaysia, and the greater the overall commitment towards a more digitalized Malaysian economy.
Lastly, for the conclusion, the OIC Economic Outlook 2023 report highlights Malaysia's progress in the digital economy, but highlights challenges like lack of financing, cybersecurity threats, workforce skill mismatches, and infrastructure gaps. To fully realize digital transformation, Malaysia needs to address this issue through policies like digital inclusion funds, cybersecurity training, and education reforms. Investing in human capital and equitable access to digital resources is crucial for Malaysia's competitiveness in the digital global landscape.